all that thought Dele Farotimi was very strict and very stern in his words when he will come here and said there was nothing as a Nigerian citizen, Dele has been proven right today. Dele, take your flowers, because you were correct. Because like Dele will say, Nigerian citizens don't have rights. Their rights are trampled upon. It's just about one big man not liking your face. They'll tell the police, and the police will run along. But the same police that comes to meet us, to defend them. I remember my boss, I admire so much, Prince Uduka Baegbana, talking about the story of a guy top there in military intelligence. And the role he did to track down journalists. He said one night he saw somebody in his Frank Omenka. He saw somebody in his kitchen. And the next thing, the same Frank Omenka that was violating them now became the Frank Omenka that was running for help. You see, those I really want to talk about. Thank you for all of those that have commented and speaking up Dele Farotimi. Those that I pity the most are the slaves that are going everywhere to say, good for him, because he's talking for justice, good for him. You see, I will just remind them, as a Yoruba saying, that the cane that was used to beat the last wife is still there waiting.
Yeah.
The senior wife.
The senior wife is still there waiting for all of us. All of us will chop that cane one day, and you will see how brutal the Nigerian states can be.
Yeah, well,
so don't worry, keep abusing him.
No.
You can never be as great as the soul of Dele Farotimi's feet.
A very big thank you to Rufai Oseni for that. That is a very wonderful piece from Rufai Oseni of Arise Television during the morning show presentation. Here is Uncle Dele Farotimi. 2 days ago, he spoke regarding his arrest by a compromised justice system towards a criminal persecution planning against him. Everything Dele said has now happened. Guys, please, I would love you to share this video for the world to see.
It came to my knowledge that there is a charge that had been fraudulently preferred against me before a court in Ekiti State at the instance of Chief Afe Babalola. This charge had been fraudulently preferred, hidden from view, and the court had purportedly demanded my presence multiple times, and I had failed to appear before this court. And this court had then proceeded to issue a bench warrant for my arrest. This is classic Afe Babalola. I detailed his corruptive influence in my book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. And what he has done is exactly what he has always done in hiding. But he has done it this time again. And the calculations were that I would have been picked up, taken before this judge who must have either been compromised or misled in Ekiti. And I would have been remanded in prison custody for being somebody who was meant to face trial and who had refused to bring himself to court. I am reliably informed that social media influencers had been paid to spin these narratives after my arrest. Human rights activists have been positioned to start speaking after my arrest, including one Agbaya. High offices in this country have been compromised in pursuit of my person. High offices, from the Inspector General's office, because the police have been subverted. The Attorney General of the Federation needs to examine himself because his office has been somehow linked to this as well. I do not know if the presidency is directly involved in this, and I will not make frivolous charges. But high offices have been subverted in pursuit of a criminal purpose. I have committed no crime, done nothing wrong. If I have committed any wrong for which the state requires my attendance in a court or at a police station, they know exactly where I live. I will live only once. I will not live cowering to any man. Let us be clear. If and when I have a charge to answer before a court, you all know where I live. I'm not hiding, and I'm not running away from anybody. Let us be very clear about that. I will never run away from Nigeria. We all have to pretend that we are in a democracy, and we have to pretend that we are citizens, and we have to pretend that we are a country ruled by law. And by all means, you will pretend that we are. I have done nothing. And if I have a charge that should be preferred against me, bring it on. I'm happy to come to court to have my day. If there is a crime, there must be justice, not only for the person who is aggrieved. There must be justice for the accused. And there must also be justice for the system. This is not how to build a rule-based system, where the system itself becomes so criminal that policemen were engaged in criminality.
This is coming from the People's Gazette. Bookstores run out of Dele Farotimi's bombshell as Nigerians race to read how Afe Babalola corrupted judicial system for decades. You heard what Dele Farotimi said. It seems he knew what is really coming after him. Now, Nigerians are reacting badly that they are going to protest nationwide against this injustice. Protesters to occupy Afe Babalola's chamber, King's College, London, over Farotimi's detention. I think who is championing this protest is Sowore. Sowore is the one who is championing this protest come 10th of December 2024.
See, Teju, the apple tree will not grow in Lagos because it was never intended for the soils of Lagos. But plant coconut, it will thrive. I was born to live here, and so are you. But people go where they will survive, and that was all you did. But if you had come to me today to say to me, Ẹ̀gbọ́n mò ń lọ o, I would probably not have said to you what I said at that time. Not because I would still believe that you were better off abroad. No, I still believe you are better off in Nigeria. But as you have heard me say, the first person who used that word escape was Seun Anikulapo. He said, "No, people are not migrating, they are escaping." The reality is that the Nigerian abroad is escaping, is not migrating. That you decided to leave at the time you did is a reflection of the wisdom you found in understanding the environment in which you have found yourself. It is not that anything is intricately wrong with seeking greener pastures in other climes. But I am telling you that in all of my travels, and I've been to a few countries around the world, and I have never come across a single Nigerian who has told me that they are happy to be outside of Nigeria, but they have left because Nigeria has constrained them and rendered it very difficult for them to actualize themselves or to fulfill their potential. So it is the constraints of Nigeria that has led a lot of people to leave Nigeria. So the wisdom of your decision is unquestionable. But I am not sure that a day passes without you looking back at Nigeria. I'm not sure you can ever be happy if you had to cut yourself off completely from the mad country that you left behind. But when you speak with me and I tell you, the wise ones have left, it is the truth. The objective reality is that there is nothing about Nigeria to suggest that those of us who have stayed behind are sane. You actually have to be insane to have a choice about leaving Nigeria and then elect not to go. You actually have to be functionally insane to remain in Nigeria. In fact, it is my thesis and argument that if you truly want to know the insane Nigerian, look to the ones who have a choice as to where they will live and who can afford to live abroad but elect to stay behind in Nigeria. Anyone you know who can afford to live abroad and has refused to go and has stayed behind is a madman. The person has to be insane. Yes, now, the person has to be insane. How can you exercise a choice to remain in a place that is as functionally crazy as our country has become? Everything that should not happen, every abnormality has been normalized in our space. Everything that shouldn't happen is happening in this place. Everything. And yet, we all carry on as if it is completely normal. So, yes, I don't believe that it is right for a Nigerian to leave Nigeria and go abroad, especially America, because even the blacks who are born there, who are 4th and 5th generation, are not accorded the full rights of a human being. When the system can find its way to deal with them the way it is structured to deal with them, it still deals with them as though they are still enslaved. So, as bad as he bad, the Nigerian soldier look at me too, I can shakara him. He doesn't know who my father is. If it comes down to that level, we can shakara each other. May God rest Pius Adesomi in his bosom. I read a piece that he wrote some years before he died. How he would have to drive all the way into the Canadian bush to go and hoot his horn. You know, he hadn't been hearing car horn. So he would drive into the forest to go and press his horn so that he can hear it. Because it's too normal and sane in that place. And he's not used to the normalcy and sanity. We are Nigerians. Sanity is far from us. Because our country does not allow us the luxury of sanity. That is just the reality.
So you have described yourself herein as being an insane person.
If I was sane, why would I be in Nigeria? I have to be insane to be here now. Look, sanity is an handicap. If you are too sane in Nigeria, okay, let me tell you something. If you want to know how insane we are, drive into a roundabout in Nigeria. You are driving into the roundabout. You know that the person in the roundabout has the right of way and you are waiting for him to go. He is abusing you for not moving. The one behind you is hunting for you. Were law. The person who has the right of way is telling you, Olori Buruku Koshikuro now, because he doesn't know that he's the one who has right of way. So now when you are confronted with that, how can you talk about it being sane? A policeman, in Yoruba language, you call a policeman Olokpa. Olokpa means the bearer of the staff. The staff that he bears is the king's authority, is the symbol of the king's authority. So the policeman is essentially the symbol of the authority of the state because he's the enforcer of the state's laws. Policeman, a creation of law, turns his gun on you, a citizen, and he tells you, I will shoot you and nothing will happen. So the person who should enforce the law is the one who is declaring the state of impunity, and you tell me that's a sane environment. What is sane about that? If a policeman should say that to you in America, he will lose his job. Even in the most racist part of America, if you catch him on camera turning his gun on a citizen, or even an immigrant, or even a goat, if he would dare to turn his gun on a dog and shoot the dog, he will lose his job. But in Nigeria, nothing will happen. He's told you the truth. He will kill you and nothing will happen. The Nigerian Senate padded the budget, 3.7 trillion. No. What has happened? Nothing. So are we sane? How can we be sane and that will be happening in our country and nothing? Have you seen any reaction on our street? Nothing will happen. Nothing. So we can lie to ourselves and pretend that everything is hunky-dory, but the reality is that nothing is sane or normal about our existence. Our objective reality speaks to madness. We can ignore it, we can pretend it's not the case, but that is the truth.
All right, finally, Bradley, in